I actually have notes for this episode. They haven't disappeared from me, but I do have them. And I've tried to condense it down as much as possible because you said you only have an hour, right?
Yeah, because I've got to set up for these guys afterwards. They told me last minute, we're doing a podcast tonight. And I was like, okay.
Do you know what's special about today's episode? Ignoring the fact that we've got Apple stuff to talk about, and we'll get to that. But what's special about today's episode?
Is it some sort of an anniversary?
It is.
Okay. Is it your birthday?
No.
Okay. Maybe it's 2 years?
3 years since we started the podcast.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Wow.
And it happens to be on the 30th episode as well. If I knew this properly, I only figured this out maybe a week ago while we were doing the last episode or while we were editing and getting that all done, that this would be the special one. Next year, I want to do a quiz again because the first year that we did it, we got Jonas on to do a quiz for us. And I listened back to that episode recently, which I never do. I never listened back to any of the episodes, but I did for that one. And I really thoroughly enjoyed the quiz. So I think we should do that again at some point.
Did I lose? I'm guessing I lost.
Yeah, you lost.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it again. I need revenge.
Need revenge. But now that we've hit 3 years, how does it feel?
Do you know what? I thought I knew my stuff, but for 3 years you've just reminded me that I don't.
I like the fact that we're 3 years on and we still have the whole technical problems at the beginning of the recording.
Yeah, well, you seem to have it. You seem to have it sorted now.
That's because I have the time before.
Yeah.
Where I will spend that half an hour making sure everything's right, plugging all the lights in and making it all right, fine. But you usually, I've just come back from work, you immediately start having to do all of this.
Yeah. And my Rodecaster, that's the problem. I need to set it up properly because I used it for something else before, DJing this week. And I've got to make my scenes properly on it.
I only go on the Rodecaster once a month now, and that's to record my radio show for Transient.
Yeah.
It's literally over here, right next to me, but I never, ever touch it.
Oh, what a waste.
The Volt one just did everything I wanted it to. And I will use it because we've got to record a lot of episodes for the upcoming release of Wonky. Not saying when that is, still keeping that quiet, but we do have a solid date on that now. Yeah, we got to record a load of episodes for a bunch of different shows. So I will be using it then.
Good.
Here's one thing. How long did you think we'd be doing this podcast for?
I don't know, because I do things, like I commit, I stay on it. I might not be super reliable, but I imagined it would be at least a year until you kind of went off and done your thing.
But we're still doing it.
I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing, really.
I love doing functions.
Me too.
It's a hell of a lot of annoyance to try and get it planned and all ready. But just having these chats about random, usually Apple products. This was never meant to be an Apple podcast.
It's not.
But it ended up being one.
Today it is.
Today's definitely going to be an Apple podcast.
I love it because I normally talk tech to tech. I talk to my screen. I get angry. I get excited. No one else wants to talk to me. I don't dare talk to anyone in my house about it. So I just get grunts. So this is why I like this. It's like a release to hear you and to talk back and be heard.
I mostly get people going, oh, he's talking about it again and again. But oh well. This week we've got so much to talk about, and yet at the same time they're not huge announcements. Let's start off with perhaps the most minuscule but probably important to me announcement is the iPhone 17e. If you didn't know, last year I got the iPhone 16e, and now they've released a second generation of it with MagSafe, the only thing that annoyed me about it the most.
Yeah. Are you getting FOMO?
I was getting worried when I first heard about the leaks that they were going to get rid of the notch and add in the dynamic island. Not being someone who's ever used it, I'm just curious. I want to know what it's like. So I would have been quite annoyed to find that out. The MagSafe thing is annoying, but I solved that with getting the D-brand case. So I'm mostly fine with just saying on there. And I don't mind about the storage increase because I've had this phone now for about a year and I've only just hit 40 gigabytes used.
Okay. What does that come with? 128?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've never been someone who fills up storage on my phone that much. The same can't be said for the Mac. The new MacBook Pro came out with a 1 terabyte base storage.
Yeah.
That hurts. That really hurts.
That was lovely. I love that.
I do think it's technically still more expensive because I don't remember if they did this before. The chip that I've got in my one is the M2 Pro. You can now get the MacBook Pro with just the M series. You can just go the M5.
Right, okay.
That's the cheapest one now. So you can get the M5 with 1 terabyte for £100 cheaper than my current MacBook. Or how much I paid for my current MacBook.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the way things always go, right?
I was initially fairly annoyed about this price thing. But then I came to the realization that I have got the Pro chip, the better chip. And if you get the MacBook Pro with the MacBook Pro M5, it's almost £2,000.
Wow.
It is very expensive still.
Yeah.
So that made me feel a little bit better. But I am definitely excited to see the rumors around having another MacBook Pro come out this year with the touchscreen and OLED.
With the touchscreen, the OLED, and then also the new M6. It feels a bit too soon for M6.
It does. I think we've got to the point where the chips have kind of stagnated. We don't really look for the chips anymore.
Because they're all good enough.
Yeah, they're all great. My dad's still on an M1. My mum's on an M4, so latest-ish generation. And then I'm on an M2. And they all are absolutely fine for us. It's not like the Intel series where you had to kind of jump as fast as possible to the next version.
Yeah.
So there you go. One good thing is that we don't really pay attention to that. But Apple's now got to redirect our attention to other aspects of it instead.
Yeah. Well, the big thing with these announcements today, that Apple are competitive at every level now, which is something I don't think I've ever seen that in my life.
No. And they were already a deal at the moment due to the whole RAM and storage problem, actually making Apple affordable for once. They also announced the iPad Air, which is a thing that happened. What else can you really say about it?
Everybody who wanted an iPad probably got one, and I feel like the iPad refreshes are actually just a gift, because people who are going to buy an iPad don't really care what it's got. They're going for the iPad for basic things. So the fact they keep refreshing it when they don't really need to is great. But at the same time, I don't think people are going to run out and pre-order an iPad.
I'm the only iPad I've ever owned is an iPad Air in multiple different generations. I feel like the iPad Air has to be the best for its price, be able to do more powerful things than just the base iPad. If you're a big iPad user, then you're going to probably go for the Pro, and you're probably going to be an artist or some person who needs that.
Yeah.
For me, if I was going to get an iPad today, I'd probably go between the Mini or the Air, and that's the only two options that are in my mind. Not even the base iPad, just the Mini or the Air.
Are you an 11 or a 13-inch iPad user?
11. The smaller the iPad, the better, in my opinion, because I want to be able to kind of dock it in front of me on my desktop while I'm working.
Yeah.
Currently, I have my laptop in that area, but if I could put my laptop aside and have it as a extra screen for Home Assistant or podcast stuff, I would do that.
Well, the 11-inch iPad Air with a certain app is a great camera monitor with the USB-C. Brilliant size. But other than that, I think it's too small. I need that 13-inch model.
Yeah.
Second screen for your PC, those kind of things is great.
But there's a reason why I don't own an iPad anymore. I do have an iPad Air, an old one, a really old one that's behind me. But I never plug it in. I never use it. And the only reason why I ever used it in the past was to read scripts or quickly write them while I'm out and about. And then I got a laptop. Can you guess the other Apple announcement? Again, not the MacBook. We will get to that. The weird thing that I knew was going to be announced, but its news has kind of got immediately wiped out because it's kind of a boring and incredibly expensive thing.
Oh, okay. Incredibly expensive. So you're talking about the new displays.
Yes, I am.
But there was a price cut, right? Weirdly. In the XDR display, it's like no longer 6K or whatever it was. It's like 3K now.
They have two different variants, yeah. So they've got the cheaper variant and the more expensive variant. My only problem with them is primarily they are still far too expensive for any person.
They're gorgeous, though. I went into Apple Store Regent Street last week and just stared at the display. It's gorgeous.
They are really nice displays. They no one doubts that. They're just far too much money for what they are.
So the Studio Display XDR is now 3,000, but it's 27-inch. So they've dropped. The size is smaller.
Yes.
I think 27 inches is a great size for a 5K display.
I've never met anyone with one of these displays. I know that there are people out there with them and they swear by them, but at the same time, I'd rather get a BenQ display or something cheaper that has the same amount of specs.
Yeah.
Like at the exact same time that it came out, funny enough, a BenQ monitor did come out for, I think, 5K, same brightness. I think it had a camera on it, and it was only £1,000 compared to the Apple's £3,000 entry price.
You could buy that and a lovely MacBook Pro together.
I mean, put it in perspective of how many Mac Minis you could buy for that display.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that, but it's not Apple, and it hasn't got that lovely hinge, the £1,000 stat. Oh, come on. Would you go for a studio display for 15?
No.
No, not good enough.
I wouldn't buy any studio display. If it landed on my lap for free, yeah, fine, I'd use it. But there's no way I'd pay that much. I'd rather have a much more useful display. Because the thing that bothers me is being someone who used a Apple Cinema display for a few years, one of the really old ones.
Yeah.
They were great, really good, except when you plug them into any other device.
Anything else? They don't play with anything, do they?
Which immediately makes the display not useful. Because the amount of times that I'll plug in my camera into the display or my Steam Deck into a display, and that's just incredibly useful to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'd rather buy something with maybe an inbuilt KVM or a Thunderbolt port on it than an Apple device that I can only plug it in other Apple devices into.
You might not know the answer to this because, like you said, you don't know anybody that owns one, but can you even... So if you've got a Studio Display XLR or whatnot, can you even screen mirror from a MacBook to it? I bet you can't.
I have no idea. No, probably not.
They have their own chip, but I don't think they have any kind of interface, do they?
No.
So, yeah.
So along with the news of the new MacBook Pro and the MacBook Pro with a touchscreen later this year, me and my dad were discussing this in the van the other day. They definitely need to put touchscreen on an iMac. I think a year ago I mentioned this in this podcast, but I genuinely think that's a way more useful and a very good reason to buy the iMac. Because at the moment you've got the Mac Mini, the cheapest possible desktop machine. Why on earth would you buy an iMac? There has to be a really good reason.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you could buy a Studio Display and a Mac Mini right now instead of an iMac if you really wanted that Apple display. But I don't know if a touchscreen is the way to go. I just don't feel like... maybe it's great for illustrators, but I can't see why else Apple would want to do that.
The reason why I think about it is the retail market. One time when I went to London, there was this person with what I thought was a giant iPad at the time, but I was just small. And they were doing all of the purchases and everything from that single iPad. And I was thinking, what a waste, because you're going to leave that plugged in all the time. That battery is going to swell. It's not going to go well. But if you put that iMac that everyone's kind of dreamed of at some point, in the media world at least, there with a touchscreen, that's so much more useful.
I'm just surprised that... How old were you at this time? You said you were small.
It would have been just when we moved up here, so maybe 10 or 11.
So I'm surprised that 10-year-old Mac was concerned that the store clerk's battery's going to swell from leaving their power in for so long.
Come on, you know me. You know me.
That's great.
I've been an Apple nerd as long as I can remember.
A fair Apple nerd, I'd say. You have some devoted fans of everything, I guess, and they blindly follow. But you don't. You don't blindly follow Apple. You've taken a break. You've come back when it made sense for you.
Yeah, the iPhone 6 was it. I wasn't using that when that came out, because that was generally a terrible device, and I will stand by that forever. In the last episode, we discussed the new Patreon page that we've moved from Substack. If you head over to Patreon right now, you'll get updates on changes, news, and new episodes first, as well as a voice in the community. You can check out all of our shows, including functions, at patreon.com/wonkyfm. Again, that is patreon.com/wonkyfm. patreon.com/wonkyfm. Now, back to the show. Let's open up with, what do you think about the name? The MacBook Neo.
I guess it means new, but I mean, I was hoping for iBook. How about you?
I would have loved iBook. That would have been great.
Yeah. We still have iMac. Why not have an iBook?
I would much rather just call it MacBook. Why? If you think about, like, we've been discussing the iPad today, right?
Yeah.
The MacBook would have made so much more sense to be based off. Sorry, yeah, the MacBook would have made more sense to be based off the iPad, where you've got the basic version, the iPad, the slightly more powerful, the iPad Air, and then the very powerful iPad Pro.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they do that with the MacBooks? I know we had MacBooks in the past. I don't know why Apple is allergic to going back and using a past name.
It's tainted. That little 12-inch MacBook has just killed it for them, I think.
But this is not far off that. It's 13 inches, I think.
Yeah, it's 13.
So why?
It's a name. I'm not that bothered. And, you know, from Apple's perspective, it's a market, isn't it? People are going to talk about that on the news, and it's a Neo. It's something, it's a new product. It needs a new name. And yeah, I think the name's cool. What I was really interested to see is the way they marketed it. Did you see the initial promo?
I did, yes.
The first thing in the copy, one of the first things that said is at a surprising price. When have you ever heard Apple talk about price?
Yeah, true.
Ever?
Yeah.
I've never heard them talk about price in marketing ever.
The price is impressive.
Yeah.
In the time that I've had between it coming out and this podcast recording, I've searched up Chromebooks, Dell laptops, and they're all around about that same price.
Well, have you seen the price for education?
I have. I was going to get onto that. So the default price is $599,
Yeah.
but with education, it's $499 for the base model.
That's unbelievable.
Do you know what's even better about this?
What's that?
How much do you think the AirPod Maxes are?
I think they were $499 when they came out, years ago. Maybe they're $450, $399.
$549. So
Really?
yeah, so you can buy a laptop that can do absolutely everything cheaper than a pair of Apple's headphones.
That is amazing. That just shows that how pricing is done. Pricing is done based on demand. We've always known that, but if you're going by function, you can buy an iPhone for more than you can buy a MacBook that can do more. You can buy their cheapest iPhone that costs more than their MacBook. All the same.
When it comes to prices, there are two different variants at the moment. There is the 256 gig, which is that price that we were talking about a minute ago of $599. And then there is the $699 one, which comes with 512 gigabytes of storage and Touch ID. A thing they did focus on quite a bit in the advert I saw.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's fair as well.
I think just looking at, we've only got one piece of marketing, right? I don't think there's anything else official from Apple yet,
No.
apart from the webpage. I think they are really focusing on the demographic that has Apple products already, possibly an iPhone to do the authentication or a watch. They're talking about how it couples up with your devices a lot. And honestly, at this price point, I wouldn't go for the Touch ID 512. I just wouldn't. I'd go for the base, lowest storage. They're all 8 gigabit.
I don't know, because macOS is taking up a lot of my storage, including Apple Intelligence. So I would be worried that I wouldn't have enough storage. But also, I am a MacBook Pro user.
You are.
So I don't know how that would compare to other people that I know dealing with the MacBook Air currently.
I tell you what, this is a great laptop for DJs. There are so many DJs out there who are using controllers, and I get a lot of questions. What Mac should I get? I want to get a second-hand Mac. What should I get? Because they don't need it for anything else. They just need to run their basic software, which could easily be handled by one of these. They plug in their external drive, and they just want to use it. And I think at $599, there's going to be little pockets of markets like that need a Mac for a single use that are just going to eat this thing up.
I should say I have also no worries that this won't be able to run Adobe Suite. I think it will, and it won't run it at the best it possibly could, but it will run fairly well because we know the iPad Pro
Oh yeah.
The iPad Pro can do all that, so we know that it is possible for this to work like that.
And think about this, right? This is a gateway drug Mac. That's exactly what it is for Apple.
So you bring up a very good point, because when watching the video, I couldn't get this out of my mind. They went through every detail. They described the entire Mac ecosystem pretty much, and showing off the bar, showing off how it works. It is very evident to me that this is them attacking the PC market. This is them having an introduction video all over again.
They literally are targeting Microsoft PC users.
Yeah. And there was no, oh, it's going to act like a MacBook because you know what a MacBook is. I think they said that in the demonstration videos that the press got, but that's entirely different because you've got to get the Windows people.
And that's where I'm not sure. I'm not sure it will be successful. They obviously, great, they want us end users, individuals, but they really want to go for institutions, bulk buying and education. I don't know if they will. The price might get them in, but I just don't know if it's enough for them. They still might go Chromebooks, in my opinion.
Chromebooks have the same price, same amount of RAM as well, but they have a bigger storage by a significant amount, actually.
Really?
So some of them start at 512, some of them are about a terabyte of storage default. That might change because of current circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Same for the Dell machines. So there is a downside to this whole thing. But at the same time, I think it will make a dent in the market. I don't think it will fully succeed.
Will you recommend it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was already thinking about that. I will, before, actually, let me go back on that one. It's not out yet. Until I get my hands on it in some way, which is probably me going down to the Apple store and throwing a bunch of stuff at it, seeing what it can do, then yeah, I probably will recommend it.
Okay.
I can say, based on the specs that I see, yeah, I think it's a very good product. There is only one thing that worries me about it.
That's the RAM.
Yeah, because I have to solve a problem fairly often between people at uni, that they have this weird error that the lock screen will fill up their entire RAM. I've been trying to figure this out, and I'm hoping that Apple will fix this before this product comes out.
Yeah.
I've not seen it on Tahoe, but definitely in the last version of the update, I would check the activity monitor or a B-hop or H-top to figure out what the hell is going on, and all I would see is that the lock screen is stuck at this high usage of RAM, using up the entire machine until it crashes.
You know what I like about the 8 gig of RAM though? That is Apple telling me that my MacBook, which is in its 5th year, is going to be supported for a long time. If they're releasing a Mac today that they're going to support for the next 5 to 7 years of 8 gig of RAM, I'm golden.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
It made me realize that I've got 16 gigs on my computer, which I entirely forgot.
I've got 16, yeah. I'm just looking at the Lenovo Chromebook Plus 14. That's the one that Google are kind of touting on their page.
Yeah, it's the new one coming out, I believe.
Yeah, $599. And yeah, if Apple are going at this kind of product, they're going to win every time. This looks like a grey plastic piece of crap from 2015.
Yeah, but it also says budget. Its entire design to me says it is a budget device, while the Mac does not say that.
And it's 128 gig.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
128 gig storage.
Oh, all right. Bye, Chromebook.
12 gig of RAM, but again, compare that to an M processor or an A processor, and it's going to be similar performance or worse, I guess.
I remember using Chromebooks in high school, and I hated them. I thought they were the worst piece of rubbish I've ever used. So to be able to have a cheap MacBook is just fascinating. I never thought I'd see the day that a phone chip would become a laptop chip. I didn't think that would be a thing.
Yeah, but once the iPads could do it, the writing was on the wall. But no, I love it. It's not for me, but I love that I could possibly recommend it. I had a parent today, I was doing some interviews for the next year's course, and a parent said to me, does my kid need a computer? And I said, well, no, they don't. But there is a Mac that is $499 that they could get, and they could run Adobe on it, Premiere Pro, if they wanted to. If you wanted to buy them something, don't spend $2,000, spend 500 quid. And I love that I can do that. It's never going to be for me. I'm spending $2,500 and getting myself a lovely 16-inch M5 Pro, but there is one for everyone now, and I could happily recommend it.
That being said, knowing that it's not for you, it's probably not for me either. As a parent, would you buy it for your kids?
Yeah, I think I would. I don't sounds strange, but I don't really feel comfortable buying them an Android or a Windows device. I think ecosystems are really important, especially when you live together and you share things together. And I don't mind spending £500 on something I know will work for a long time.
Hmm.
But my son could buy his own. He's got more money than me.
That being said, the 13-inch display doesn't bother me at all. The chip is a great thing that they've announced. It's got side speakers, which I think is a little bit odd, but
Compromise?
yeah, it just means a lot of the time when I'm walking around uni, I'm holding my MacBook from exactly those speaker points. So that's going to be quite annoying.
Yeah.
Also, I believe the microphone's in the same place based on what they were saying in the video, but I want to double check that.
Stereo, I think it was like dual mic. It wasn't their studio quality mic, was it?
It's also got huge bezels, like really huge bezels on the displays. But again, it is a cheap device, so I'm not bothered by that. Framework devices have that. Chromebooks have that. It's what you get at that price.
Yeah.
There is just another thing actually that does bother me is there is no MagSafe.
Yeah. Is that a problem?
It is and it isn't. Because the biggest problem well, not biggest, but one of the problems you have at uni right now, because everyone's got different generations of MacBooks, is that someone will want to borrow your cable. What Apple fails to do time and time again is try and keep a standard across everything. The whole Lightning problem and the 30-pin connector, it's just created this confusion between each person. So when you go up to someone and say, especially someone who doesn't know Apple very well, and you have this this magnetic connector, people aren't going to understand that. But if you put it on the cheaper devices, that puts it at an entry level for everyone to understand what it is. But at the same time, I understand why it's on the pros, because it is a more expensive way to charge your device.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's something that needs to be there by the next generation of this Neo device.
But then isn't USB-C just a standard that everyone's familiar with, everyone has a charger for? I'm guessing these things don't charge super fast. They probably come with a 30-watt charger in the box. So, you can whip out your iPad charger and put it in one of these. I think that's better cohesion from, phone to iPad to
20 watt.
20 watt. So there you go. So I think that's great. Those kind of people, sorry, I sound like a tech snob. That type of customer is going to have that charger in their pocket already, and they won't want another one. I think that's good.
And it technically means you can charge your laptop off the same charger for your phone, which you can do anyway. I want to point out, because of how Type-C is made, you can plug your phone into most Type-C chargers if they're correct.
You can, but with your MacBook, that's going to be a nightmare, because there's a faster option. I guess with that, it would just be the same, wouldn't it? I love it. I don't actually use I'm looking at it now. My MagSafe charger lives in my studio, and it's always plugged in here. And if I ever bring my laptop in, I will charge it whilst I'm here. But it's practically brand new. It's 4 years old. It's clean. I always use USB-C.
At home, everything's Type-C. But when I'm out and about, I'm on MagSafe.
Okay.
What do you think about the colours?
Love them. I like the citrus. I think that's quite brave and bold. It's not actually bold, but it's brave for Apple. And I like the keyboards. I like the fact that they've tinted the keyboards. It's cool.
That confused me at first. I don't know why. It made me feel like there was an entirely different layout. I had to stare at it and go, no, that's exactly the same. It's just a different colour.
Well, it was white, wasn't it? On the first part of the ad, they just had a white keyboard until they said they're coloured. So I was like, I don't know if I like the white.
Well, I mean, they used to be white keyboards.
They did, but I really like I don't know what they call the blue. Maybe they call it indigo or Nate or midnight. Or I don't know what it is, but I like the keyboard on that. That's quite a nice touch. Are they backlit?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I have no idea if they're backlit.
They didn't show it with the backlights on. Let me find a picture of it.
That's a good point. I've not noticed that at all.
Yes, it's got a backlight button on it.
So that's still a necessary. That's cool. Good to know.
Cool.
You wouldn't even get that on a Chromebook.
No. And what are you doing with your MacBook? Other than needing the power, what makes it feel like a MacBook is that build quality, the trackpad, and the keyboard.
Now, the trackpad, Snazzy Labs pointed this out on Mastodon and Threads. The trackpad has no haptics.
What? How does that work?
It hasn't got force touch, so when you click on it, there's no click. So that might be a big problem.
That's a deal breaker.
See, they've messed with the best trackpad.
Obviously, they're saving money with whatever mechanics go into that, but how do you know you've clicked?
I don't know.
It's only got tap to click, I guess.
That's what I'm going to go and find out. When it comes out in the Apple Store, I'm going to test that.
Oh, they've killed me. I have tap to click on my trackpad, but I never use it. I always push down unless I right click. Oh no, I'm upset.
That's it. That's what. There you go. Video over or podcast over. We can't recommend it anymore. The trackpad's not good enough.
But nobody's downgrading to this. Don't forget that. Nobody who's got a MacBook Pro is buying this, and I've just got to remember that.
I do think that's going to cause confusion though. Still.
Yeah.
But it's also going to be that thing that if someone is using one of these MacBooks, the MacBook Neos, if they try a MacBook Air at any point, they're going to go, "What? Why don't I have that? I want that." So maybe they'll upgrade. That might be a thing that they're doing to make people upgrade.
Yeah, this is the drug. It's the drug. They've got it, and we're already addicts, so we don't know about that. We're looking at these weaker drugs and criticizing them, but they're potent to some of these kids.
I don't mind the colors. I think they're fine. I agree with you. The yellow is very brave, but they probably did that on purpose in response to the orange. That being said, Apple, bring the orange to it, please. Thank you. That's it.
Oh, Apple just responded. They said 2028.
That's out of season then. You can't get an orange 17, orange 18 with your orange MacBook Neo. You need to have them matching. Apple, fix it, please. Also, iFixit afterwards has claimed that Apple said that they are going to make it a repairable device.
What does that mean?
No other information has been given.
What does that mean? You can change the keyboard caps.
No, because the keyboard's exactly the same. That is going to be welded down or soldered down straight to the chassis. So, not the keyboard. Does it mean you can have replaceable storage? Will the storage actually be removable?
Did they say upgradable or repairable? Yeah, who knows?
It said repairable. They said...
Oh, you're going to be able to change those rubber feet that they made a big deal of. That's what it's going to be.
I did find that very odd, the rubber feet focus. But why not? It was a fun video.
Yeah, I really like it. It was really creative, actually, wasn't it?
I still got to say, I like the pro video more because that is what I do. When I'm bored, I'll start tapping the keyboard to a beat or something like that. And I just love that. That's just fun.
I thought at first, the pro video, I thought they're using Logic Pro and they're using the keyboard to play piano because you couldn't see what her hands were typing at first.
That would have been a very funny thing to do.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I liked it when the drummer was doing his finger drumming, but he was typing. That was cool.
Let me introduce you to Finder, a new rebranded segment. When we started doing this show, I had this whole thing where I suggested an app or recommended an app. I'm bringing it back.
Okay.
Because I keep doing this, and since getting an iPhone, I constantly have new test flight apps installed. But this app is called Studio Us. All one word. It is a work-focused timer that works with your calendar. So your planner comes up and it automatically enables your focus mode, which can automatically, even better, disable apps.
Wow.
And you can set up presets and everything that disables certain apps at certain time when you're trying to focus in other ways. And then they also provide focus insights and your app data inside of it as well.
So basically someone's just put Automator or whatever they call it on the iPhone and made it a nice easy package.
Yeah, it's an easier to use package than the actual screen time tools and all that. They need a refresh because every time that I go and tick off an app to say, right, at this moment, I don't want to have access to this app, you have to scroll all the way down, eventually find it, including all of your Mac apps for some reason. Why can't they be separate categories?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to recommend this because I think it is a generally good tool. I've tried a lot of Podo timers. I'm giving this one a try right now. I cannot say if it is the best Podo timer, but definitely something to pay attention to.
And that's a free app?
Currently, free app, yeah.
Nice.
Don't know if that will change, but if you look here, I have a lot of apps I'm trying out at the moment, even more in so many other sections.
So are you discovering these ads, or are they kind of do you just flick through the app store sometimes?
The best place so far for me has to be Threads. Because of the information I pay attention to, a lot of developers publish out their apps on there and say, here's a test flight, join it and I'll give it a try. It's the same way I've been trying a lot of browsers, but you don't want to know how many I have installed on my machine right now.
God.
That being said, I did actually, one of the other apps I'm trying out at the moment, because the developer was very nice, and it's literally all it was, is another podcasting app called Adura. Very simple little app. Thoroughly enjoying trying it out. I don't think it will replace my main podcasting app because I am so attached to that one, but I want to give it a try.
Okay.
You have also reminded me of something else. Last week, when we were doing when the episode came out, I spent a lot of time on Threads and designing something, and I actually also published a YouTube video. So videos are actually coming out again. I'm doing stuff again, which is nice. I did this because of a response to it. I'll just explain what the video is. I redesigned the Apple TV UI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just did a whole video where I redesigned it just to kind of test if that was a possible video to do. I had the entire intention of making it into a video later on, but I randomly just put one of the screenshots up on Threads to get a mixed response, lots of comments. By far the most active my Threads account has ever been, usually getting around about 20 views, and by the end of 3 days, I think, I was at 7,000 views.
Wow.
69 likes, and quite a few comments. Some negative, which were difficult to deal with, but eventually it came out okay.
Oh, well, congratulations. I think it's interesting when you as a designer, you put some thought into something and you're contributing to the community, and people would be, they could be negative and constructive, but people would be directly trying to be offensive and negative is really hard to swallow.
I never understand that. Like, some people will just say, terrible, wouldn't use this, not great. That's not useful. What I want to know is why people wouldn't use it. What isn't a thing for them? And so many other people did do that. They explained why they didn't like it or why they really liked the idea.
I think most of the time, the people that say those kind of comments are people that are absolutely not involved in any way in a creative kind of medium. And I kind of would be the same if I tasted something I didn't like. I wouldn't offer any feedback apart from, oh, that was disgusting. But then the culinary community would say, yeah, but what does it need? I don't care. I don't like it.
That is actually a very good example, because I've never thought of it like that. I'm not an expert in food at all. Quite the opposite.
But it still doesn't make it any easier to hear.
I never thought that Threads would be the community that I'm involved in a lot. I spend a lot of time on there now, figuring out stuff.
So Threads is very much alive?
It is in the tech side of things.
Okay.
You got Mastodon, which I'm slowly not using as much. I still have an app that aggregates it all into one place, so I usually see all of it at once. But Threads is that really good platform for just showing me a bunch of things I wouldn't find on my own. They recently had that thing where you can write Dear Algo and it updates your algorithm for 3 days.
Okay. Nice. Well, I'm going to try out that app on Finder. I've got one for you to try on Finder.
Oh, okay.
It's not a techie app at all, but it's a great app. I try a serial quitter when it comes to exercise and routine. And I've been using an app called Bend, which is really useful when you used to be a sporty person and you're not so much anymore. But I'm guessing it's useful for everyone. And it's a stretching app, and it kind of gamifies stretching, like a lot of things are gamifying routines now. But you get streaks and kind of useful little routines that you can do 3, 5, 8, 15 minutes. And you get a bendability score, and it's really addictive. And I'm on a 15-day streak, and I can touch my knees, my head on my kneecaps now. And when I started, I couldn't touch my toes. So it's great. It's really encouraging me to be fit. I love the interface. It's really simple. It works. You can back around it. You can watch another app over the top of it. It's great.
It's called Bend, did you say?
It's called Bend, yeah.
I'll give that a try. I have actually been trying out, I installed an app that I haven't actually properly tried out for fitness as well, called Fitera, Fitera. Okay. I have not tested around with it that much, but it seems to be around about around making a routine for exercise. The app just looks kind of like the Formula One bands in a weird way.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Gym workout tracker.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say about Bend is you might want it because you're a tech person and it's got a big focus on tech neck, which I didn't know existed. So exercises that help with people that use laptops a lot and devices a lot.
Oh, that's kind of cool, actually.
To stretch your neck and strengthen the muscles in your neck so that you can stay healthier for longer.
I hope you like the new segment, Finder. I went through so many names, and then while I was working on it, there was I just opened up the Finder app and went, that's perfect. I'm finding stuff.
Penny dropped.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
We're an Apple-related podcast. Why not?
Apple adjacent.
Apple adjacent. Yeah, that's it.
There you go. So I'm buying the MacBook. I'm not playing the waiting game. I'm not waiting till December, September, October. I'm going for the 16-inch MacBook Pro base. So that will be M5 Pro. Yeah, I don't need a Max. M5 Pro, 1 terabyte. Perfect.
This update definitely made me think about what MacBook I should get. And if I should get a MacBook, or if I'm fine with what I've got. I think for now, I'm staying with what I've got. I'm perfectly fine with it. But when the M6 variant comes out, I would think about getting the M5.
Well, the M6 is going to be a price jump, isn't it? I don't think it's going to stay the same price.
No, I agree. Sadly.
And $2,500 is already a lot. I mean, that's student price, education price. I don't know what the actual price is. But yeah, I will get that soon. I'm looking at it for Easter, so we'll see. And I'm probably going to get about £100 for my existing MacBook Pro. We'll see.
I'm still waiting for the Steam machine to come out. I'm going to get that.